beautifuls, this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Seduce Me 2. Last episode I totally forgot I had a fan running in the background, so if you guys heard something weird, that was the fan. We cut it off this time though, so shouldn't be in the background anymore. They've waited so long to meet one another, and now they're together. I hardly saw them more than an arm's length apart. Both of them were adorable together, and I could tell that life was going to be full of adventures for them, regardless of who truly was in the lead and where their energy took them. They relished in the sweetness from before Noren's eyes became half-lidded and her smile turned wicked.
So, there's no one around, and I don't feel like heading back just yet.
Right here? But Simon's here. He could be watching.
Like he hasn't intentionally walked in on us before and threw glitter all over your back.
Okay. But can we, turn him around or put him in a drawer?
Put him in a drawer.
Are you getting shy on me?
Noren smiled, ready to one-up her love, but Matthew's eyes darkened as a competitive fire burned inside him. His mouth twitched into a sly smirk.
Oh, don't think I'm gonna be the shy one tonight. I never back down from a challenge.
I gasped, feeling my ears burn from secondhand embarrassment and fighting my urge to walk in and prevent them from ruining the war room any more than they have with their shenanigans. Noren perked up at my surprised sound, glancing over to the door where I stood and shot me a mischievous smile with a finger to her lips. I finally turned and left, needing to continue my own journey to my room and clear any intention of returning to that room again. I didn't look forward to walking back to my room after training. It was easily the hardest part of my day. However, I found it comforting to take my time exploring the castle on my way back. What I didn't expect was to hear a surprised shout echo through the stone halls.
You nerd!
I froze in my tracks, recognizing the voice and deciding to quietly tiptoe towards the door of the room it came from. I peeked in to see the interior of the library, and my gaze zeroed in on Iridessa, who was seated in a chair, covering her face with a book while James leaned over the top of the chair, smirking down at her. It was like watching a game of cat and mouse, and when they teased each other, Iridessa looked up at her husband from behind her book with a giggle, and James watched her like a curious hunter.
I'm sorry. Am I intruding on your reading?
No, you're being a big nerd, and you know it. Peeking over my shoulder and scaring me like that? How rude.
With a small chuckle, James moved from behind the chair and leaned in closer to Iridessa. I really hope that's how you're supposed to say her name. I'm waiting for him to say it. Laying a soft peck on her cheek, she tried to bite back her smile to no avail, instead hiding it behind her books, amusement clear in her eyes.
I apologize. I won't do it again.
You liar. You definitely will.
Iridessa dropped the book to her lap with a pout before shooting James a mock glare as he continued to smile simply at her, as if he had done absolutely nothing wrong. She couldn't keep the expression up, however, letting out an amused huff of breath as a grin tugged at her lips.
I'll make it up to you. I'll serve you a plate of crepes in the morning.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Will you feed it to me as well?
If that is what you wish.
This is kind of weird now. We're seeing all these couples. Is this supposed to make me feel sad?
Well, I don't need it, but I won't say no.
The dynamic between them always danced between a mature king and queen, like a couple to Iridessa, being insanely hard to get and James giving a playful bait and switch chase. It was amusing to catch a glimpse of their intimacy. Even when we had first met, the relationship between Iridessa and James always seemed to fluctuate on who was truly in charge. Iridessa let out a sigh, sitting up straight in her chair as James walked over to the fireplace and stared into the flames. Her countenance wavered as she watched him, features shifting to something more hesitant, almost nervous, a stark contrast to her earlier mirth.
Hey, James?
Yes, Eerie?
Eerie? So Eerie...
Can I ask you something?
Iridessa? James looked over to her in curiosity, nodding to the question. Iridessa. Eerie? Eerie, I'm just calling it Eerie, because James just said it. Eerie took in a deep breath and closed the book in her hands, laying it on her lap.
We're gonna go home soon, right?
Of course. As soon as we resolve this war, we'll return home.
Something was wrong. I could feel it just by looking at Eerie, and I knew James did as well. She had something on her mind, but would she say it aloud?
Is something troubling you, love?
She closed her eyes and took a moment to seemingly gather her nerves before looking to James once again.
It's just... Is it wrong that I kind of don't want us to be here?
What? Where did this come from? James seemed to be confused by the question too, raising an eyebrow at her.
Huh? What do you mean?
Eerie's teeth dug into her lower lip before she placed a book on the table beside her chair and stood up, hugging her arms around herself. Her fingers tapped her arm in an anxious tick.
Is it bad that I don't want us to be in the same place as Diana?
I stared wide-eyed at Eerie. She really didn't want to be here? What was this about? She seemed supportive thus far, but what about Diana made her feel uneasy? James turned fully around to Eerie with a look of mild surprise before his expression lit up with realization.
Is it because she was once my betrothed?
Oh, right. I mean, all girls would feel the same way. Eerie seemed to wince at the sentence, but nodded nonetheless in response to James' question. I understood why, though. Who would want to be in the same place as the woman who could have taken the one you loved away? James' lips drooped into a frown as he crossed his arms.
I'm sure she has no intentions of taking me away from you.
Yeah, she has that one guy that she uses just for enthrallment and stuff.
That's not what I meant.
Eerie looked down at the ground, pressing her lips together in a fine line.
Guess I'm just not comfortable being here with her. Something about her just... I don't know. I mean, she's a gorgeous succubus and all, and I'm just nothing compared to her.
Aw, don't sound so sad.
Love.
You're very mature and elegant in your own way.
How could I even compete? You two could have ruled together, made a beautiful couple. She could have given you more than I ever could. She is.
Iridessa.
Iridessa. This is getting intense, guys. I want to walk out. Come on, character. Let's go. This is too much. I cannot handle. James' tone forced Eerie to look up at his face, seeing the stern king she is. King, huh? He is? Huh? His queen had married him.
There is no competition. You are the woman I chose, the one I wanted, the beautiful and kind woman whom I was lucky enough to marry. I swore to be with you for the rest of my life as your husband. No one in the 5 worlds can make me betray you or lose the love I feel for you.
This is too much. I want to walk out. I'm feeling quite uncomfortable. James slowly walked over to Eerie. Guys, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Wrapping his arm around his wife's waist, she squeezed her arms around him tightly for a moment before letting out a sigh, the tension leaking from her shoulders, not soldiers, as she looked up at him.
You're right. I'm sorry, James. I'm not doubting you, I swear. I guess I've been overthinking a bit lately. Sometimes it's still hard to believe that you chose me when you could have anyone in the world you desired.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? We have so many people around this world, and we all end up just loving one person. Even though that one person could have someone else liking them, and they have a chance to be taken away. Don't you guys think it's weird? I think it's weird. And his hair is not shaded all the way. Hello?
You are the only one I desire. I am yours and you are mine forevermore. I vow to give you my entire life, and will protect you for as long as I live by your side.
Raestro.
Oh, she's calling him by his demon name. At the mere mention of his demon name, I could see energy pulse around James' form, and he let out a small, pleasured hum as he leaned in and pressed his forehead against Eerie's.
You know that you're not supposed to use my real name unless you need something.
Oh, damn. I guess... Awkward! I need character. Let's sleep. I'm feeling quite awkward here. Like... I don't know. I could feel a wave of voyeuristic embarrassment run along my cheeks as Eerie looked away from him, biting her lip coyly. James chuckled deeply, however, and kissed her temple, hugging her close to him.
We'll be home soon, I promise. Once this war is over, we'll return and never have to worry about Diana ever again. Okay?
Okay. I love you.
I love you too. Always.
Aww. Eerie finally looked up at James and smiled sweetly. He mirrored her grin, leaning down but stopping halfway so his love was drained on the edge of her toes to claim her kiss. Mean. Her smile shifted into one of mischief as her fingers curled into the soft material of his sweater just over his chest. She tugged, bringing him down so their lips could finally meet. I couldn't help but admire them. They made a picturesque pair, complementing each other in many different ways, be it with fashion, personality, or even with their endearing height difference. Seeing them together sharing such a sweet moment reminded me of when I first met her. Aria exuded an air of delicate shyness that balanced well with James' commanding presence. I recalled how quiet but polite she had been during our first meeting, full of kind smiles and soft laughter. However, watching Eerie close the gap between her and the eldest of the brothers made her appear more powerful. She had claimed a would-be king and didn't dare dream of letting him go. I became a little envious of her, but I was happy with the man I had in my life. Their hands started to wander and I could feel my cheeks heat up. I realized that I had peeked in on them long enough. Wanting to give them some privacy, I turned and left them alone to continue my journey to my room. Oh, who's next? Sam? I trotted towards my room, admiring the decor as my mind wandered to Damien. I began to wonder how his training was going. Was he adjusting to his powers once again? Was he holding back? The idea of him using his powers seemed a bit thrilling. It had been years, since he used them after all. What kind of attacks could he do now, especially in the demon world?
Oh, many things can happen in this world. You're limiting the possibilities so much.
I stopped walking, suddenly feeling the room dim a bit as I looked around for the voice. It wasn't Diana, I knew that for a fact. But how was the voice of my dreams back to haunt me? Was it like how it was able to communicate with me in the human world? I looked around for a mirror but found none inside.
Again, you limit the powers of magic, dear.
She's shadow.
Everything, nothing. Sometimes I don't know myself.
I could only glare into the dark, tensing up and preparing myself for a fight. The laughter that echoed from the dark only made me ease up a slight inch.
So eager to fight. Too bad you're not as wise as you are brash.
Why don't you just leave me alone?
Because this is entertaining. This little game of will he, can he is just too interesting to pass up. Only a fool would ignore this kind of intrigue.
I feel like we already heard this before. Then why pretend to be Diana? A lingering silence filled the room, making it that much more creepy. Something about this wasn't right. Can I skip? Yeah. Didn't I do this before? Hello?
Oh, I can't wait until you realize who I actually am. The expression on your face will be just so tantalizing.
Tell me? Just sleep. Did we not do this already? Tell me? Hello?
I loved her
What?
ever since I met her, and she's been there for
I'm kind
me
of confused.
for everything. She made me human. Well,
I'm quite confused. Hello? Because we already met that part. So, why is it... We already read all this. We already knew he was drunk. I don't get it. I don't get what's going on. Something's wrong. Just leave? What if we do that? This game was going... This was... Taunting my laugh.
You can walk away all you like. I'll always be around, waiting to check in again.
What's stopping me from just ignoring
You can't. I'm always there, tickling your brain and reminding you of what you truly believe.
I don't get it. Why is this repeating?
I loved her ever since I met her, and she's been there for me for everything. She made me human. Well, almost human anyway.
See, we already read all this. Hello? We're gonna stay silent. Okay. I don't know what happened. The decor of the halls greeted me as I walked through the corridors, wanting to simply lie down and rest my sore limbs. A muffled giggle, however, caught my attention as I walked past a door that was left open. Out of curiosity, I leaned into the door to find the source of the sound. Oh, is it letting us see everybody's? I don't know. That was quite weird. It's quite weird. Anyway, inside were Eric and Irene, a pair that emanated charm and sophistication. They were settled at a balcony carved out of the room they were lounging in. From the look of it, it was just an open pocket room, Spartan and probably used for private affairs. Eric and Irene stood by the railing of the balcony, staring out into the sky and smiling at the clear air.
I won't lie. I've missed this world a bit.
Wow, she sounds mature.
That makes only one of us, my love.
Oh, come now. You cannot tell me that you don't miss being here.
Irene turned and leaned back against the railing, giving Eric a smug smile. Irene had always been a mystery to me. I was convinced that she was a succubus, but she wouldn't reveal to me what she really was, which added more misery to her flair. She looks like a eagle or something. Her things. Eagles don't have that though. She was definitely pro-demon, always dropping out of glamour whenever she was alone with any of our group. She respected humans enough to work her way to the top of the financial hierarchy the old-fashioned way. When Eric told me about her, I could practically feel the love and devotion he had for her with each word he described her with. While I was still his princess, she was his queen in love. That's totally fine. I just want to be a princess for the rest of my life. Eric chuckled at Irene and shook his head, still facing the sky.
This world is too full of boring or terrible memories. I would rather be back in the human world. Nothing to bother us as we enjoy the world together.
Irene let out a small laugh before sliding closer to Eric, laying her head on his shoulder and staring at the ground.
Eric, there is one thing that bothers me.
Oh? What is it, my love?
Irene pressed her lips together. I could see a moment of hesitation and doubt formed in her eyes before she let her feelings out in the air.
Why are you so close to that girl? Your princess. I understand your closeness to your family, but she is your brother's intended.
Oh, she's jealous of us? You're the queen. Where's a princess? Come on now. My heart lurched at the mention. Eric looked at her and took a moment before kissing her head sweetly, wrapping an arm across her stomach and hugging her to him.
Didn't I tell you before? She saved my life, my brother's lives. I owe her more than any human in the human world.
I understand that, but something about the way you speak about her makes it seem like you love her as much as your brother does.
Hello? I stared at Irene and Eric in shock. He spoke about me in that way? Why? I was marrying his brother and he was married to her. That made no sense. At Eric's laugh, I broke from my thoughts, as did Irene, gasping as he pulled her closer, leaning his forehead to hers.
Is my queen becoming jealous of a human girl?
What of it?
I find it rather adorable and endearing, despite your concern being completely unjustified. Are you truly concerned about me being close to her?
Are you gonna make him not get close to me anymore because you're not feeling safe?
And if I said yes?
We're both gonna be married, yo. What more? Once you're married, you can't steal someone's wife or husband. Come on. A moment of deep silence passed between them as Eric buried his gaze into Irene's eyes as she did the same to him. Despite the light tension in the air, I knew that Eric didn't see me the way he saw her. He devoted himself to her long before the moment he said I do at their wedding, and despite Eric having some charismatic tendencies, he was never one to betray the trust of someone he cared about. Eric leaned in and captured Irene's lips, making her release a sweetly pleasured sigh against him and lovingly grasped his shoulders. As he slowly pulled away, he gave her a genuine smile.
There is no one I love and care for more in this universe than you, my beautiful Maismer. You completely have my heart, my mind, my body, and my soul. And there is no one who can take that away from you.
That's where we're gonna stop, guys. Hopefully you won't do that weird bug thing that I just did, because that completely threw me off the road. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful. Hopefully we can get our lovely dovey action. I'm tired of seeing everybody's lovey-doveyness, and then we're just sitting here third wheeling it all up. But thank you guys for watching. Stay beautiful, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.